Hi guys, I'm Nazia from UPSC Summaries, and this is a video lecture about the Union Budget of India 2019-2020. So first of all, what is a budget? Well, the Union Budget of India is defined as a statement of estimated receipts and expenditure of the Government of India in a financial year. Every state also has its own budget, but here we will be talking about the Union Budget from the point of view of UPSC and other state PCS examinations. Guys, the name of our channel is UPSC Summaries. We also have a website with the same name where you can find regular updates of PIB, The Hindu editorials, RSTV programs, and other important articles from Yojana, Kurukshetra, EPW, etc. Okay, so let's start. In the Constitution of India, Article 112 talks about having a budget, but the term used here is annual financial statement. The article says that the President shall, in every financial year, cause to be laid before both the Houses of Parliament a statement of the estimated receipts and expenditure of the government for that year. This means that an annual financial statement is to be tabled before the Parliament every financial year. This means that a budget has to be tabled before the Parliament every financial year. But this year, we saw budget presentation 2 times, which was because of the general elections. What happens is, during an election year, it is not practical for the ruling government to prepare a full budget. Hence, the ruling government announces an interim budget for the time being. So the distinction between interim budget and full budget should be very clear. There is also a concept of vote on account, which is different from the interim budget but is often confused with it. Vote on account is made by the government when it needs money for expenditure only for a few months. So the difference between the two is interim budget contains expenditure as well as receipts, but vote on account is only about expenditure. So now coming to this year's full budget. This is a very interesting diagram that gives insights into the government's income and expenditure. Let's try to attempt this MCQ. Statement 1 says, GST is the biggest source of income for the government. Statement 2 says, government spends the most on central sector schemes. As we can see from the diagram, both the statements are incorrect. GST is not the biggest source of income for the government. The biggest source is corporate tax. Also, a very interesting point here is that corporate tax gives more income to the government than all the personal income tax collection. So the correct answer for this MCQ will be option D, neither 1 nor 2. Now let's talk about sector-wise analysis of the budget. First of all, talking about infrastructure development. Regarding roadways, Bharatmala Phase 2 is going to be launched. In airways, India is world's third largest aviation market and has immense potential to grow. Udan scheme is performing very well. For inland waterways, Jal Marg Vikas project and Sagarmala are initiatives being undertaken. In railways, railway infrastructure will be seeing an investment of Rs 50 lakh crore between 2018 to 2030. For metro rail travellers, a national common mobility card is being launched, which will be applicable for metro rails as well as for local buses. Continuing with the infrastructure development, a Model Tenancy Act of 2019 is being developed because there is a huge housing affordability deficit in India and rental housing can significantly contribute to the government's Housing for All ambition by 2022. The Model Tenancy Act is a very interesting piece of legislature which aims to cap security deposits at 2 months' rent for housing. It also aims to penalize tenants for refusing to move out of their rental properties after their rental period expires. And it also says that the landlord will not be able to increase the rent without giving at least 3 months' notice to the tenant. This law is right now in the draft stage, but is a very welcome step. About the Indian power system, power availability to states at affordable rates is ensured through the model of One Nation, One Grid. So right now we have our Indian power system that is divided into 5 regional grids. But under One Nation, One Grid, states will get non-stop supply of electricity and grids will be able to share loads as well as surplus. Now coming to industrial development. For MSMEs, a 59-minute loan portal is being operationalized where an applicant will be able to complete all formalities in less than 1 hour. This is being done to give a boost to the cash-strapped MSME sector. Changes have also been made in custom duties to give a boost to the Make in India initiative. A dedicated TV channel is going to be started for startups, where people can get information about all legalities regarding how to start their own businesses. For e-vehicles, FAME Phase 2 is being initiated. FAME is a very popular scheme that stands for Faster Adoption of Hybrid and Electric Vehicles. E-vehicles are the future of automobile industry because fossil fuels are going to be finished up in a few decades, and also because e-vehicles cause no emission and are environment friendly. So this was all about industrial development. Now coming to tax proposals. A scheme of faceless e-assessment of income tax returns is to be launched so that human interaction is minimum throughout the process and less chances of corruption occur. Also, if you are individual and your income is less than rupees 5 lakh per annum, you will get full tax rebate, which means that now you will have to pay no income tax to the government. Apart from this, merchant discount rates have been done away with from certain modes of payments to encourage digital payments. Now talking about fiscal consolidation, fiscal deficit of the government has constantly been decreasing over the few years, which is a very good sign for the Indian economy. Central government's debt as a percentage of GDP is also decreasing, which shows that the fiscal consolidation is actually happening in the Indian economy. Now coming to banking sector. We all know that India's banking sector is grappling with issues like that of non-performing assets. And we also know that insolvency and bankruptcy code has been brought in to redress these issues in the banking sector. The Union Budget 2019-2020 tells us that the IBC has helped recover rupees 4 lakh crore in 4 years which is a good sign. Recapitalization of banks is also being proposed to make them stronger against liquidity stress. Now talking about rural India. Outlay for Gram Sadak Yojana has been increased for rural connectivity. Ujala scheme is also in vogue for rural electrification, and MG Narega for employment guarantee for rural youth is also working as planned. Now talking about agriculture and allied activities. Sphurti scheme, which stands for Scheme of Fund for Regeneration of Traditional Industries, is focusing on bamboo, honey, and khadi clusters and helping them revive and rejuvenate. Apart from this, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is working for the fisheries sector. India also hopes to achieve blue economy for itself. Now, blue economy here is not to be confused with blue revolution. Blue revolution is calling for a revolution in aquaculture and fisheries sector, whereas blue economy is the sustainable and efficient use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods and jobs, while preserving the health of marine and coastal ecosystem. So the two are very different concepts and are not to be confused. Now talking about water resources. A new Jal Shakti Mantralaya has been constituted after merging the Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation with Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. To ensure Har Ghar Jal to all rural households by 2024, a Jal Jeevan Mission has been started. Also, a Jal Shakti Abhiyan is in vogue, which is an intensive water conservation campaign built on citizen participation by the Jal Shakti Ministry. Now talking about women. This is a very interesting topic because there is a concept known as gender budgeting. Gender budgeting takes note of the fact that national budgets impact men and women very differently. And it mentions budgetary resource allocation and the specific expenditure amount for women separately in a column. This is a very good step. In my personal opinion, what more can be done here is that now that we have scrapped section 377, we must shed gender stereotypes and also focus on the people who choose to identify themselves as anything other than men and women. We as a society have shunned them for so long, it is time we recognize our misjudgments and redress them. Now coming to labor welfare. Laghu Vyapari Man Dhan Yojana and Shram Yogi Man Dhan Yojana are ongoing schemes for labor welfare in India. Apart from this, codification of labor laws is being undertaken, which aims to group 4 existing laws into one big code. This is a very welcome step and will simplify the laws and also get rid of any discrepancies which exist in the old laws. Now talking about youth. For youth, a Study in India program is being modeled to attract foreign students in India. Also, a National Sports Education Board is being set up for sports persons. A new education policy aims to transform India's higher education system to one of the best global education systems. So this was all about all the sectors and how they have been impacted by the Union Budget 2019-2020. In the end, it is India's dream to become a $5 trillion economy, and in 2019-2020, it is already the 6th largest economy in the world. India is continuously reducing its current account deficit and opening up its economy to let in more FDI and FPI. So in my opinion, this aim of becoming a $5 trillion economy is not far-fetched. But India will have to take care to smoothen out any bottlenecks and ensure that all sectors of economy continue to grow steadily. That will ensure prosperity for all, for India as well as for the world. This was all in this lecture. You can like, share and subscribe for more quality content for UPSC examinations. You can also connect with us on our social media channels, the links for which are given below. Thank you and all the best for your examinations.